Not even recording this. I've got pressing record button. Hi guys. I had a very good day today. But instead of talking about my wonderful productive day, I want to talk about something I just read about. So, I think a week or maybe 2 ago, there was a news report of a couple of streamers who were live streaming. They were seated at the side of the roadside or the sidewalk, and they were approached by this lady wearing a face mask on her face, and she was telling them, oh, you're not supposed to sit here. And then they were trying to tell her oh, we're not doing anything, we're not even eating, we're just sitting here and talking on live stream. And the lady went up ahead and kicked their food. So at this point, there's obviously something wrong with the lady. We don't know what, but there is definitely something wrong, because I guess no normal person would do something like that. So after that ensued, there was a little bit of argument. There are two live streamers. The lady got up and sort of hit the woman because the lady kicked their food onto the floor. And the lady got up and I think it wasn't like a hard slap or anything. It was just like a soft slap. I don't know. After the masked lady followed them everywhere, they had to call the police, get her pinned down on the floor. And she was pinned down on the floor. She was singing a song to herself. And all this was shared on social media. It was shared online. It was shared in the public. And there were a lot of people, when this incident happened, a lot of people who were being extremely unsympathetic to the masked lady, because at this point, yes, it looks like the two live streamers are the victims. And the amount of oh my gosh, she's crazy, she's got a mental issue, like really mean comments started popping out on TikTok, Instagram, and nobody sought to try to understand the situation or try to be empathetic about it. But that's not what I'm gonna talk about, okay? Because I feel like you cannot gatekeep what people say in this time, this day and age. There is no way you can gatekeep people from saying things like that, because that is our opinion. We have a freedom, social media gives us this freedom of speech, right? Whether they're being mean or rude or anything, that is on them. But yeah, a lot of really mean, nasty comments appeared out, and a lot of assumptions saying that, oh, obviously the masked lady is mentally unstable. We have words like retarded thrown around, or crazy. And yeah, so today Straits Times, an actual news article, had this masked lady's sister approach them and talked about her sister's condition, how the sister was showing signs of autism at a young age, and how she's actually on medication, but she didn't want to take it because when she took it, she would drool and her hands would shake, and it wasn't a nice sight to see. So she recently relapsed and kicked the caretaker out, which was her father, of the house, and was sent back to IMH after the live streaming incident, and now she's back, I think. So yeah, now that Straits Times has posted an article about this lady talking about her sister, they posted it on social media, and people were very, very, very unempathetic in the comments. There are comments like, oh, mental illness is not an excuse. And yes, I do agree, mental illness is not an excuse. But the lady wasn't saying that her sister wasn't at fault. Right? It's this point, both parties got to take responsibilities. I mean, we ourselves, right? We have some sort of wit, some sort of intuition, gut feeling, I don't know. When you see something that is not right, you know that it's not right, or the person is not right. While I feel like we should not trivialize the couple's trauma, obviously it's somebody kicking your food, I'm not going to say it's not the lady's fault because she's got mental illness. I'm not going to say that. It is her fault. And even though she wasn't in control of the actions, you can't fully blame her for it, and you can't fully not blame her for it, right? She is still responsible for kicking it. If you have a mental condition and you do something bad to a person, and you're not in control, you still did it, right? You're still, in a sense, somewhat responsible. And the same thing goes for the live streamers who did not know what was happening, and also reacted in a way, and I don't blame them, right? In a situation, in an event like that, if somebody kicks my food, I would get mad too, right? But I think what the sister was trying to say was that she felt very upset about the way the people were treating her sister, in the sense that, oh, okay, you know, maybe she didn't word it right, I don't know, but I think all she wants to do is to raise awareness, in the sense that, okay, you know, my sister is obviously not right. And while I'm not saying that it is not her fault, I want people to understand that, like, people like that exist, and sometimes things like that happen, right? In this situation, nobody was, like, hurt, thank God. But we got to be more aware of cases like that. We have comments on, like, social media constantly talking about, oh, you know, if she was, like, mentally unstable, why wasn't she, like, accompanied by anybody? Why wasn't anybody taking care of her? Why isn't there anybody locked and watching her 24/7? Like, they're high functioning, like, autistics as well, you know. You see them, you and I see them, like, sometimes on a daily basis. But we have to develop this conversation about mental illness, not just depression, not just anxiety. Apparently this lady suffers from schizo because she thinks that, like, there are people out to get her. She sees things and stuff like that. We need to open more conversations about that. We need to be more empathetic about the situation. At the same time, we cannot completely use it as an excuse to get away with a lot of things. It has happened. Both parties have to take responsibilities, and I believe that neither one has an excuse to get out of this situation. I don't blame the live streamers, and I don't blame the masked lady, even though she did it, but she wasn't in control of her actions, so not completely her fault. It's always a very difficult thing to talk about, because, like, where is the gray line here? Like, what do we consider as, like, when do we draw a line? Like, where do we draw a line and say, oh yeah, okay, you know, she isn't in control of actions, but at the same time, you know, somebody died. When do we draw a line there? It's very difficult to talk about, because, like, mental illness is still a very touchy subject for a lot of people, and especially when it comes to, like, autism and stuff. Like, I don't have siblings or family members who are all, like, autistic, so I myself don't understand how they work. But I do have friends who have, like, autistic siblings, so I understand, like, from their perspective, it is not easy, and it is not fun to deal with as well, when you are struggling with, like, other people out there talking about your sister or your sibling or your brother like this, and it all boils down to, like, empathy here. I feel we have to try to be more empathetic about the situation, and I'm not saying that we lack it. We also lack the understanding of, like, illnesses like that, and I don't think I would, honestly, I'll be fucking honest, I would never pick up a book about autism, because I have nobody around me that experiences things like that, and I would always continue to be, like, uneducated about this thing. So recently I decided to pick it up, because, like, I wanted to learn more about, like, just mental illness in general, especially, like, as a person who's going through, like, severe bouts of depression. And yeah, it is something I feel like we should not talk about more, but, like, raise this kind of awareness and develop a little bit more understanding to why people act this way, and what is really, here's another question: what is the best way to deal with this? Like, I'm not trying to be rude or anything, like, but what is the best way to deal with it? If you were the live streamers, if I was the live streamer, what would I do? What can I do? If I ignore her and she follows me around, what's the best next course of action? Obviously, it'll traumatize the fuck out of me as, like, a person who is just sitting here, just chilling. But at the same time, right? Oops, like, my phone just, like, went, like, low battery, sorry. At the same time, when can we say that, like, things like that need to be fixed, or, like, things that need to be talked about, or things like that need to be, like, what is the protocol? I don't know what the protocol is, and I will never know also, because I feel like because I'm not experiencing it, like, daily, I will know. And again, I don't see the need to do it or to pick up something about it unless something like this happens. And then I guess this is a good way to encourage people to like go and read about autism, or like how the spectrum is like. I think same things go, like the same thing goes to like LGBTQ as well. Like if you are not, usually if you're not part of a certain minority group or anything, or you don't have friends who talk about it, you will never go and research about it. You will never go into it because like it doesn't affect you. When situations affect you and cause you like inconvenience in any sort of way, or if you just happen to be affected by it in any way, you go and research about it. And I think I don't know, I just wanted to like explain the situation, which is currently like this very contrived situation. And I always find it like, why do people immediately assume that there has to be like a blame, right? I know there's a cause and effect, and there's a action and a consequence. So like, whose fault was it? There is nobody's fault. What? Like, I mean, if there is a fault, then there's both of their faults. But you also cannot expect the live streamers to like, it's a paradox. You cannot expect the live streamers to exactly know what's going on, right? I know some of us like have this gut feeling when we know something is not right as well, but they probably didn't know how to react in that situation. And although I will say it wasn't nice for the lady to hit the mask lady, we call her the mask lady now, it wasn't nice of her to do that, but I also understand where she's coming from. Like, obviously somebody kicked your fucking food, right? And you're pissed off. I think one thing that we should be highly like aware of as well is like the comments that we make online. In anonymity, sometimes, you know, you feel bravado, like false bravado, to like say stupid things or things that you usually would say, but you know, kept inside your house. Now with social media, you can say out loud. You're basically anonymous online. Nobody knows about you. You gotta practice a little bit of like, I would say empathy, but I feel like empathy is not the word for this. I think we just need to practice how to be objective as people. Like, we have to ask questions, but we have to ask it in a nice way lah. We can't say like, oh, is she retarded, you know, things like that. Okay, here's the thing. Maybe not empathy, but we need to consider, and we need to use tactfulness, like, apply tactfulness whatever we say online as well. Because I mean, imagine if you're in that situation. Like, if you have an autistic sibling and you see things happen like that to her, and then you see people online like making fun of her and things like that, you wouldn't feel good about it either. But unless you're like some sort of sociopath, then good for you, I guess, or psychopath. You probably won't feel anything. Can I have your brain? But yeah, that's just kind of what I want to talk about. I wanted to talk about my amazing day at the cat cafe, but like this popped out and I decided to like talk about it before I stopped thinking about it. I watched the live stream on, I think, Mothership on TikTok, and I saw it. When I saw it the first time, I saw the comments, I was like, okay, you know, first of all, I'm still an asshole. I'll still say, oh, the comments are very funny. But now that like when I like think back about it, it's like, okay, you know, now that's fucked up. That's a fucked up way to think about it. This is a person who is obviously suffering. So yeah. So now I know. I feel like a lot of us have to like go through that sort of like self-awareness. And if you don't, then I guess that's fine. On you do you. I just want to talk about it. But yeah, that's all today. Hopefully more good news comes my way, because I received some sort of a parcel of good news today. But we'll see how it goes. I don't want to talk about it because I don't want to jinx it. Okay, bye guys. See you on the flip side.